only a matter of time working on any type of mechanical component before you encounter a stripped thread. A lot of times, some stripped threads will require replacing the entire component. A lot of times, when you utilize the correct repair procedures, the correct repair products, you're able to repair the thread without compromising the integrity of the thread or having to replace the entire component. This particular inner primary, there's two stripped threads. One in this location, as you can see, the bolt just wants to pull right out of them. And one here. Somewhere along the line, somebody might have over-tightened them. They might have ran in the wrong length bolt, and they bottomed in the blind thread, causing the aluminum thread to pull away, stripping the threaded portion. Loctite offers a Forma Thread strip thread repair kit. Comes as a complete kit packaged that way. This Forma Thread is a two-part component. You'll put the thread release agent on the threads of the bolts. You'll then mix equal parts of the Forma Thread repair compounds, mix it thoroughly, apply it to the bolt, then thread it right into the stripped portion of the component. This is a real nice product. It withstands heat up to 300 degrees. It does withstand quite a torque range. Read the instructions. Make sure it applies to your application. I'll guarantee you 9 out of 10 times, this will repair the stripped thread that you're having trouble with. I'll start by applying the release agent to the bolts. You want to make sure you get a nice layer on the bolt. Make sure you're covering all the threads all the way around the bolt. Make sure you get the release agent on the end of the bolt, just in case any of the Forma thread gets caught in the end of the bolt. You want to be able to remove it. And make sure when you apply the release agent, you cover enough of the threads on the bolt that you're able to put the bolt entirely into the threaded portion of the component. Whether it's stripped or not, you want to make sure you thread this all the way in. If it's a blind hole, you want to thread it in till it just about bottoms. If it's a threaded through hole, you want to be able to thread it all the way in. That way you're getting the Forma thread all the way on the damaged threads. I'll then mix equal parts of the two-part compound. I'll make sure I thoroughly mix it with the supplied plastic spatula. And you'll know it mixes well when it turns completely a nice, even blue color. There'll be no more gray. You really don't want to stir it. You want to try and knead it, flatten it out, and fold it. That way there you're guaranteed you're getting a good, clean mix. When it's thoroughly mixed, you'll just apply it to the thread of the bolt that you've prepped with the release agent. You don't want a lot of excess, but you want to make sure you get enough in there that when you thread this bolt into the strip thread, the two-part compound gets threaded in and it encompasses the stripped portion of the thread. You're going to thread it in as far as it needs to go in. You'll do the same thing with the other bolt. Apply the forma thread to the bolt with the release agent on it. And you'll thread it right into the stripped thread. Should thread right in by hand. It shouldn't be pushing a lot of excess to the outside. Make sure it goes until it's bottomed. Take the plastic spatula. Just wipe off any excess on the outside. For this application, I applied it to the thread of the bolt. Depending on your application, you may opt to apply it directly to the strip threaded portion of the component. You can remove this while it's still unhardened with soap and water, a little light solvent. Once it's hardened, the only way to really remove it is to sand it off. What you want to do is wait, now that the bolts are in position, wait 5 minutes. Let the actual forma thread seep into the strip threaded portion of the component. Then remove the bolt after 5 minutes. Then wait a full 30 minutes. Allow the forma thread that seeped into the stripped component, the stripped threaded part of the component, allow that to fully cure 30 minutes. Then you should be fine. Make sure your flat sealing surfaces are clean and try and put the bolts in. You'll find you have a nice tight thread. Again, I don't recommend reusing the same bolts that you applied the forma thread and the release agent to. Get 2 new bolts. What you've created here is 2 brand new threads. Put 2 new thread bolts in them. Use a little bit of locking agent. If it's something that's serviceable, use blue. If it's something you're putting back together, is going to stay together, use the red. But again, Loctite products, they're made to alleviate, to eliminate any problems with stripped threads. It avoids having to replace a component because of one stripped allocation. I mean, there's a number of threaded holes on this component. There's really no reason to scrap it or remove it and replace it because 2 bolts have shoddy threads.